Hey there, Caitlin again. And in this video, I'm going to show you the way that I like to keep track of things I have to do and get done. So let's get to it. I'm going to show you Google Calendar. And actually, there are two calendars I use. So I highly recommend you setting up a calendar. I like Google Calendar because it's free. I have a Gmail account, so it works. But I also like that you can set up not just events, but tasks. And so the Google Calendar really works with creating a schedule, not just for events or calls, but literally planning out your days and setting things to repeat. So you don't have to think about what to do. You just literally see it, you get reminded, and you know where you're at with everything. So the second calendar I use is called Acuity Scheduling. We look at that in the Legacy Brand Leader curriculum, but that's for my business calendar. That's for the front end of business, meaning that's what my clients see. And so again, as a CEO, we're in the back end of business, okay? Okay, so the front end of business means that is what the customers see, what the clients see, okay? So it's anything visual, anything where they're not seeing all the work that went in, they're just seeing the results of the work, right? So this is social media posts, this is websites, this is landing pages, this is events, if you're at events, this is a brick and mortar business, if you're at a brick and mortar business, okay, that's all the front end, okay? Then there's the back end. The back end is where we're working in and what we're creating in the 30-day challenge, where we're actually looking at the business, the back end processes that make a business. So starting with the business plan and the business model, the pricing structure, okay, this is what helps us create the business. So the calendar tool that I have in my Gmail account is the back end tool to help me show up on calls and help me organize my content planning and a bunch of other things. So you should see my screen, and it's pretty sparse right now, to be honest, but I just wanted to show you how Google Calendars works, because it is a little different than other calendars. So once you log in, you can create your own calendar. So I have a content calendar. I have a lot of calendars. Some of these are outdated, but a promo calendar, a content calendar, and planning calendar. So my planning calendar means, okay, these are plans, these are goals, these are deadlines that I've set for myself for things I want to accomplish or things that need to be done by a certain date, okay? So I plan to have this done by, that's a plan. So you show you how to create a task because it's very helpful. So look, so you can create an event, which you can create it as an event, that's fine. An event allows you to invite people to it, so it's not just you. So if you're sharing time with someone or sharing focus times, this is a great feature to have during the 30-day challenge. So we're going to focus on tasks right now, okay? So really important here, there's one-time tasks and recurring tasks. One-time tasks obviously are things that you would do as one-offs, like things that probably won't be repeated again, okay? A recurring task is something that happens more than once at the same time on the same day in the future. So this is great because because we need, as CEOs, we need to remove the cognitive labor. We need to remove the clutter that comes in our heads because we make so many decisions about everything. So it's really important to have things already decided for us to lighten the load in our minds. So there's the tasks. There's also focus times. So I love focus times because I found a lot of CEOs forget to schedule in is the time to relax or the time to prep for a call. And so a standard way of thinking about any time commitments that you make, that you put on your calendar is, let's say, I'll do it right now. Let's say I'm going to say log in to 30-day challenge, okay? This is where I'm committing to myself to work at. Okay, it's March 4th, 3:30 p.m. All right, that's a one-time task. I'm going to edit this because I want it to be a repeating task. So I'm going to say every weekday at 3:30. That's my time to log in, okay? So what I should put in. And by the way, to make it easier, again, really utilize the full capacity of the calendar, make things easier. Put the link of 30 days of where you're logging into here, so that way you don't have to scroll through emails and look for things. Put the link there. You're going to create a username and password. So put the link in your calendar, so you can just go to the calendar, you get the reminder, and it pops up. So that way, if you only have your phone, you can do it on your phone. If you have a laptop, you can go on your laptop. But really, again, these micro seconds, these micro minutes that we can save really does add up. So if you can save time going through your emails, you want to save that. You want to reduce the steps it takes to access things, and you want to reduce any thinking time. That's what a CEO does, okay? So that's another tip here. Put the link in your calendar, set that up, okay, as returning to task. Now, in all tasks, okay. Now, I'm going to also remind myself, if I'm logging in at 3:30, then I need to make sure that for, let's say, 15 quiet time, okay? So 15 minutes before I log in, I'm going to make sure that I am resetting myself. Yeah, March 4th, good. And I'm giving myself 15 minutes. You could take longer, and that's okay, because the better you get at like mastering your emotions and your energy and managing it, the less you can do it quicker, right? To be honest, but don't rush your journey. So, depending what kind of day you've had, depending on what is going around you in your personal life, you're going to need to, the times may vary for this quiet time, but super helpful. And so now what's great also is if you want to add a guest, for example, let's say if you have a husband or you have a child or you have teammates and you want to let them know, hey, I can't take calls at this time. Hey, I can't be bothered at this time. And you share this task or event, this is an event now, event with those that need to know about your schedule so they don't bother you. Okay, so another thing that CEOs always have to work on is communication. People need to know what's going on with them without them having to actually communicate it. And so the calendar tool is a great way to do that. So add a guest, add people to it so they know exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it, okay, and why it's important. Cool. So always schedule in these, what I call focus times, or prep times before events, okay? And so these are another examples of my focus times that I have. My legacy brand leader focus times, it says 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. I kind of shifted that time. I have to adjust that here. This is outdated also. But this tells me what I have to focus on. So legacy, I work on various projects. Legacy brand leader is one of them. And this is my time frame to focus on that. And so, yeah, just focus times are generic guidance. I'm like, okay, Caitlin, this is your focus time for this. So any tasks I have to do regarding this, I get done in that chunk of time. Okay, so it's chunking out my day. All right, so that's that. And so that's the most important thing to understand, is that the calendar, it's not about getting things done when it says you need to get it done. It's about operating without pressure. So you're going to see these deadlines, right? You're going to see these time slots. But the key is you don't want to feel pressure when you're completing them. You don't want to see pressure or feel stressed or anxious when you're looking at your calendar. It's just like learning how to look at your bank account differently, right? Where if you're in the negative or the positive, you're seeing the same thing. You're not going to have a reaction to it. You're just going to see it for what it is. It's like, oh, it's numbers. Okay, thank you for alerting me that this is where I am, you know? Same thing with the calendar. It's alerting you with where you're at, with what needs to be done, keeping you on track, so you can have a full picture of what's going on with you, where you're at, in the full context of your life. And it comes to a deadline and you still haven't done it yet. You don't panic. Don't set the panic button. Don't cry. Just say, okay, well then I need to make time for that. And so you schedule a new time, right, the next day to get it done as soon as possible. And it's giving that grace to yourself, that compassion to yourself, and being patient with yourself. This is especially important because when you have a team, they're going to require that from you too. So grace is really important. Compassion is important. And remember, this is just a guideline for your time. It's a guideline to keep other people in the realm of what you're doing, keeping them on the same page so you're communicating without actually having to communicate. And that's what a calendar is great for. So thank you so much for watching this video. I know this will help you on your journey because this is things that I wish that I had known way early on. And it took me years to really be disciplined enough to take the time to write out what I'm doing and make sure it's on the calendar before I do it. And by the way, once you start doing this and making this a habit and routine, this is preparing you for sales, preparing you for marketing, because data collection is very important in these phases. And so if you can do that on the calendar, you can do that with your marketing and sales operations. So this is just preparing you for what's to come, whether you work with me in the Legacy Brand Leader curriculum after the challenge, or if you work with someone else, you really want to make sure you're recording everything to keep you and your teammates on the same page. That's the final video for preparing you to think like a CEO. And I look forward to meeting you in the challenge and supporting you more there.